Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson, and it's game week as the Red Raiders open the 2020 season against Houston Baptist, 7 p.m. Saturday night at the Jones. And you know, I've said this in previous videos, and I'll probably say it again leading up to kickoff. But man, it seemed like it's been forever since the Red Raiders have played any kind of sport. To have football finally here, man, what a blessing. I can't speak for anybody else, but for myself, I have to say, perhaps I took Texas Tech sports for granted a little bit, and the fact that we're getting it back sure does seem like a gift, almost like Christmas for me personally. But hey, I'm a big sports fan, and obviously Texas Tech, covering Texas Tech is what I do for a living, so I'm excited to have it back. With that, we have some great questions leading up to kickoff from inside the Red Raiders subscribers, and so let's dive right into them. First one comes from Raider Power 81, who says, when will we know the names of the players who have opted out this season? He says, Wells said that there's 3. Now, have the first 2 already been identified? No, yes, Wells did say that 3 players have opted out in his Monday press conference leading up to the game. And he declined to name any of them. And I will say I know of 2 for sure. I've heard of who the other one likely is, but I'm not going to divulge that. I'm going to follow Coach Wells' lead, and if they want to announce it, then fine, great, we'll report it. Just like Daquan Watts, redshirt freshman cornerback, he this week announced that he is opting out of the season. So there's one of the 3 right there. Daquan Watts out of Atlanta, Georgia, had tested positive for COVID-19. Coach Wells said earlier in fall camp, actually, that Watts was back home in Atlanta with his mother and his aunt, recouping from COVID-19. So I want to wish him the best, best recovery. Hope Daquan and his family are healthy and safe. And there you go. There's one of the 3. In terms of when the other 2, if they will at all, ever actually publicly announce that they're opting out, I don't know. But I'm definitely, that's their business, and I'm going to leave it up to them. After they do announce it, then of course we'll report on it. All right, Texan wants to know, do the opted out players' scholarships still count against the 85 limit, or can Texas Tech reward a deserving walk-on with a Scully in their place? Well, yeah, that's a good question. I felt pretty confident in answering this on my own, but just to double check, of course, I checked with a source within the Texas Tech program, an official, who confirmed that, yeah, nothing changes about their scholarships. It still counts towards the 85 scholarship limit. Tech can't use those scholarships to give to a walk-on or anybody else. That's just one of the things about COVID-19, but good news is the NCAA is trying to do a lot of things, perhaps to my surprise, to help the athletes. For example, the blanket waiver, which Texan I know you're well aware of, which allows basically players to play or not play this year and it not count towards their overall eligibility. So, and I think the scholarship numbers are going to be inflated. I don't think there'll be an 85-man limit next season. I don't know, maybe it's 95. I'm not sure what that number will be, but at least they're doing things in order to help athletes. But to answer your question, again, no, those scholarships haven't been changed at all. They can't use them to give to walk-on players. All right, next question comes from Tech Freak, who wants a score prediction for the Texas Tech Houston Baptist game. All right, talking football. Yeah, my score prediction, I'm saying it on the radio. I've already said it in our prediction story. Is Texas Tech's going to win 63-21. Now, offensively, 63 sounds good. 21 sounds like a lot to give up to an FCS school, and it is. But we're talking about Texas Tech's pass defense, which I'm hoping that it's going to be improved, but it was 128th out of 130 last year, and I can't say that they've made such great improvements to it necessarily. I do expect it to be improved some. And then Houston Baptist, Bailey Zapp, I believe is how you say his name, that quarterback he's quarterbacking Texas Tech system. Offensive coordinator Zach Kitley and some other Red Raiders are helping institute Cliff Kingsbury's offense. It's up-tempo, RPO. Texas Tech itself wants to go up-tempo, so there's going to be a lot of snaps in this game. I think Bailey Zapp, who, like I said, threw for 480 yards and 3 touchdowns last week against North Texas. I don't know if he puts up that good of numbers, but I do think they'll put up some points against Texas Tech. That being said, I think Texas Tech's offense is going to absolutely have its way with Houston Baptist. They better, let's put it that way. And they're going to put up a lot of points. I think they're going to be, offensively, they're going to be able to name their score. Defensively, I think overall they'll have success, but like I said, 21 points. The second part of Tech Freak's question is, will Tech start fast, or will it be more of a defensive struggle like SMU Texas State game? Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a shootout. Although I think Tech's going to, triple them up on the scoreboard. So I still think Tech's going to cover. I think Tech's going to put up a lot of points, but I think both teams initially they're going to start fast. It's going to be what we're used to in West Texas here at Texas Tech. Fireworks display offensively there for a little bit. But then I think the defense will make some plays, and obviously the Red Raiders will pull away. All right, Tornado Watch says, what game or games do we think Tech has scheduled on their schedule? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think the Texas game, for a number of reasons. First off, just it's Texas. But also I think because, it's the Big 12 opener. TCU always, it's there. A lot of the players on Texas Tech's roster and the alumni are from the Metroplex. TCU's become just kind of a big rivalry for the younger generation, especially since they joined the Big 12 for Texas Tech. So, for whatever reason, in this series, these teams have beaten each other on the road for like the last 4 or 5 times in a row. So, we'll see if Texas Tech can keep it going. I think they will, because they just, like I said, they play with one big exception. That 82-27 loss in 2014. Tech has played very well in Fort Worth. Another one I'll throw out there is Baylor. Once again, for a lot of the same reasons in terms of it being in-state. You had that controversy late last year where it was, it should have been a fumble. They didn't call it. Tech should have won it overtime. I still say Tech had a lot of opportunities to win where it wouldn't even gotten to that point. But still, these two schools don't like each other. Nobody seems really like Baylor in general. In-state, I think that one's circled. And I don't know if this is going to be circled finally or not, but I think it might be. And, that's Kansas. Obviously, losing to Kansas last year was a big loss. But I think the fact that it's, the season finale, it's at least on the schedule, it's listed as that right now. It's at home. You lost to Kansas. It was a source of great embarrassment for the program. Yeah, I think these guys will probably have that circled on the schedule. But those are the 4 I think that obviously games against OU and Oklahoma State are huge. So, you could circle a lot of them. But I definitely think Texas and TCU, and then I'll say second tier would be Baylor and Kansas in that regard. All right, the final question is actually a Red Raider basketball question, and it's a good one. It's from Denny, who says, since the NCAA is furloughing its staff starting September 21st, he wonders if we hear anything positive or negative about McClung by then. Well, I always say I don't like to guess or pretend to think that the NCAA is going to do the right thing, but I've heard good things about this. I've actually already put in it was the August hot takes that I expected good news on McClung, that for him to get his waiver because of some of the ways things went down in Georgetown, the way Patrick Ewing announced some certain things that McClung didn't want. I feel like Georgetown isn't going to fight the transfer. McClung, like UNLV did with Ntambwe, and I think McClung will be granted that waiver and immediately eligible. Yes, and I do believe it will happen any day now, honestly. So, like I said, I don't like to speculate on this, in regards to the NCAA, but in this case, I'm going to already have, on Inside the Red Raiders in the hot takes. So I might as well go ahead and double down here in the mailbag, and do believe we'll hear some good news on McClung very soon. But with that, I want to thank everybody for their great questions. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.